Hi Startup Nation, this is Hillary Sawchuk from adrinkwith.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm about to tell you about the journey of A Drink With, some tips and tricks for entrepreneurs and some lessons I've learned along the way. My name is Hillary Sawchuk. I am the founder of A Drink With, also known as adrinkwith.com. We interview industry leaders over a drink, and we try to get to know them as if they're a friend. We're really trying to be different than the rest of the media. We're not out to get that one soundbite. We like to talk to people as if the cameras aren't there, and which, as we're getting bigger, has been challenging as the setup gets a little more larger, but we're really trying to keep it intimate, comfortable, casual. We talk to entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, actors. So while we do celebrity pieces, you know, it's definitely not just about celebrities. We are inspired by those who have inspiring success stories, people that blaze their own trail, that didn't give up after their first no, after their first hurdle. I know as I've been building this business, these conversations kind of keep me going. I'm always asking people to tell me about that time that they failed and it led to success, or the time where they almost gave up and they were ready to quit and then they didn't, and right after that, you know, they hit their big break. So the conversations are meant to be entertaining and fun. You know, it is just a drink, but also inspiring, informational, educational. I really want our readers to take something away from the piece, to laugh and feel like they really got to know their favorite musician or entrepreneur, but then to take something, and whether it's they're inspired to follow their own dreams, or not. I like to think that we are smart, but also, you know, sexy and fun. That's kind of how I think of our brand personality. I started A Drink With 6 years ago. I went to school for broadcast journalism. I thought I wanted to be a sports reporter. I thought it was fun. I loved my Detroit sports teams, so I worked with the Pistons, with WDIV here in Detroit, and I quickly realized that those quick conversations in the locker room and the sidelines, I wanted more than that. I wanted to build relationships and have meaningful conversations, and I just wasn't getting that in a locker room. So I moved to Chicago, and I took a sales job just so I could live downtown. I was still sending out my demo tape. I felt like it was going into outer space. I wasn't getting any callbacks, and I realized if no one was going to hire me in Chicago, which it was the number 3 market, that was okay. I was just going to have to start my own thing. So I kept saying over and over again, I could have a drink with this person, a drink with, a drink with. Finally, I decided, it was a guy friend who said, just call it A Drink With. And that's kind of when the light bulb moment happened. And I realized that I could do one thing, and I want to be the best at it. When you go to adrinkwith.com, you know what you're getting. You're going to see this intimate conversation, and you're going to see these personalities like you haven't seen them before. So that was my goal, to have the best conversations over drinks, and really, whether it's alcohol or a cup of coffee, tea, beer, whatever, people open up in a different way over a drink. It sounds kind of cliche, but special moments happen over a drink. You celebrate over a drink. You have business deals. and something you just really connect with people in a different way. The alcohol sometimes helps, but that's really our secret. But I set a goal to do 1 interview a week. Started with photos only, and I stuck with that for about 4 years. And then once we started doing video, I kind of slowed down a little bit. But I just told myself I'm going to interview 1 person a week over a drink, and that was the beginning. So I've spent the last 7 years in Chicago. I'm originally from Rochester Hills. I went to Michigan State and Oakland University. I am a Detroiter at heart, and I have been keeping my eye, obviously, what's been going on in my hometown while living in Chicago. And I'd come back for the holidays, but it wasn't recently until I had sat down with Dan Gilbert and got to see what the city was like during the day, like during the work week, go to coffee shops and have meetings downtown. The energy, totally true what Dan says, where you just have to feel it and you have to be here. And I felt it, and now I'm so excited to come back and hit the ground drinking with all the Detroiters doing cool things, from creatives, entrepreneurs. I think it's interesting, the people that like never gave up on Detroit, but then all the new people in town that see the opportunities and want to be a part of the rebirth. And, you know, I don't even want to, as you guys know, it's not coming back, it's back. So I'm so excited to be back home and talking and meeting people all over again in my hometown. So in my interviews, I ask everyone, if you could have a drink with anyone, who would it be? My personal answer was Richard Branson. And it took about 3.5 years, but I was able to have tea with Sir Richard Branson at Virgin Hotels in Chicago. You know he's successful for a reason, and it's because he is so present. He looks you in the eye, he remembers your name, and he was asking me questions back, which I'm not always used to in an interview. Usually it's me always trying just to listen and take it all in, and obviously ask the questions. So when Richard Branson kind of like turned it around on me and started asking me about my business, it definitely, like, you know, that doesn't always happen. So I had to stop him. I had to say, you know, I only have 20 minutes with you. I can't be the one talking the whole time. So I'll never forget Richard Branson. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend was a fun one. John was doing a concert, so he drank tea. Chrissy Teigen had a martini. They were so down to earth and so nice and like showed up on time. But then, you know, I always connect with the entrepreneur pieces, the founders, the stories, you know, where someone started with their business with a $5,000 loan from mom. The founder of Coupon Cabin, Scott Kluth, I'll never forget, he said something along the lines of, for every good day, you have like 5 bad days, and people only see the good days, and no one, you know, no one sees all those bad days leading to those kind of big moments. So I always remember that, and I like to think that about how everyone compares their behind the scenes to everyone else's like highlight reel, and hearing things from entrepreneurs like that is something that keeps me going. So I love that. The mayor of Chicago, so now I got to get the mayor of Detroit. That was really, I was nervous for that one. I didn't know what Ram I was going to get that day. And he was, you know, he can be intense, but he was intense in a nice, really fun way. Gosh, who else? The founder of the Laugh Factory, Jamie Masada. He started the Laugh Factory when he was 14 years old and slept in the first venue. And so just hearing like an iconic brand like the Laugh Factory, where Dave Chappelle and Dane Cook was discovered, to hear that this guy was 14 when he started the place, those are the things that really get me going and excite me. I mean, Dan Gilbert, obviously, since we're in Detroit, I could have talked to him for hours. We had a nice long conversation, And like I mentioned earlier, I went to school for sports journalism, and then I asked him 0 questions about sports. I was so just interested in his vision for Detroit and how he runs all of his businesses. I love what he said, how with business, it's not, great success doesn't come from being neat and tidy, that sometimes the process is messy and it leads to something really great. And he uses an example of like an artist, the studio's a mess and then it's like a masterpiece. So I like to hear that, that sometimes, it's okay if everything doesn't feel like it's in order, that sometimes the creative process or any process doesn't have to be this neat and tidy spreadsheet. For those who are interested in content creation, whether it's a blog or a podcast or, we're this web publication, and to give a little more background, I do the interviews, I do the drinking, but it's not a drink with Hillary. I'm really trying to build this brand, adrinkwith.com. So I don't necessarily consider myself a blogger. My opinions aren't really like in the pieces. My personality might come through the questions I ask. So no matter what kind of content you're creating, I think the way it has to go is you have to be wanting to do it without getting paid for a while. If you're going into it thinking that it's a way to make money, I don't think you're going to get anywhere. You have to live and breathe and be so passionate about what you're talking about, whatever it is, and be willing to have it be something you'd be doing anyways, before thinking that it's something to monetize. Because I do get asked a lot, people who want to monetize their Instagram. But I had a full-time job for a whole year of doing 1 interview a week before I kind of took the leap, I guess, to make it a full-time gig. So that would be my one piece of advice, is think twice if you're doing it for money. There are definitely a lot of strong female entrepreneurs I look up to, for sure. Sherry Salata, who was the president of the Oprah Winfrey Network, has been a huge, huge inspiration. She was with Oprah for, 10 plus years. She was the producer of the Oprah Winfrey Show and then the president of the network. She has been just a strong female leader that I've looked up to. I think maybe something is to just not be afraid to ask for what you deserve. Don't be afraid to speak up. I don't know if, I don't want to say that women feel like they're afraid to speak up, but just to, for really anyone, for situations you get yourself in, you deserve to be there. So sometimes I might be nervous for an interview, but then it's or nervous maybe at a dinner party or something, but it's no, I deserve to be there. There's a reason I was invited. There's a reason this person said yes to the interview. So just for everyone to just always have confidence, because you didn't get there for no reason. I had actually a girl from Oakland University. She wasn't an official intern, but we've been in touch, and she wanted to do interviews out at the Cannes Film Festival, and she pitched this idea. Her boyfriend actually had a film in the festival, and she pitched the series to me, a podcast, doing interviews out at Cannes, and I told her to apply for a press pass. We got a press pass for a drink with. She went out there, and she was nervous, and I kind of told her the same thing, you got yourself to Cannes. You have a press pass, and it allowed you, not allowed, there was a reason I let you apply under a drink with, and we're doing this together, so you deserve to be there. So you need to have the confidence. I will say it's really special when you find a network of women that all support each other and that all have their own businesses. So I think it's important to create that circle of women that you can bounce ideas off of and support each other, and because those groups are special. I have definitely my circles, and when we get together, there's nothing more powerful and inspiring than a bunch of female leaders in a room getting drinks. I definitely read The 4-Hour Workweek. I know that's one that has been around for a while. I'm reading the 10X rule right now. The big, The Secret follower. I definitely believe in all that stuff. I'm always reading Crain's Detroit. I'm always reading Inc., Forbes, Adweek. I try to read a variety of publications and types of work, since I talk to all different types of people. Apps. What apps do I use? I record all my interviews on voice memos. That can pick up if I'm doing one without video, which is simple. It's already built in your phone. Hootsuite for social media. And then, like Scanner Pro, DocuSign. Yeah, I can post a whole interview off of this thing. We've been using Instagram stories over Snapchat recently. We found that like all of our audience is a little more engaged on Instagram. Daily routines. I want a routine so badly. I say that now, but then when I have a routine, I'm like, this is boring. Every week is just totally different. I'm more of a night owl. I want to be an early bird so bad, but I'm at the point now where I'm thinking, why am I trying to be something I'm not? I have 2 windows of times I can focus. In the morning, right away, with that first cup of coffee, I'm good for like 2-3 hours in the zone. And then I schedule, on a day we don't have an interview shoot, I schedule all my calls from like 12 to 3, because I start to lose focus then, but I can focus like on a phone call. I can't focus on like a proposal just on my own. Phone calls in the afternoon, yoga, then I'm ready, refreshed for round 2, and then I work like from 8 until like midnight. That's my weird cycle. When I need clarity and focus and I feel like I need help prioritizing, drive across the state and I do yoga, meditate, and a sweat lodge. And we can talk more about that over a drink if you're interested. It's this whole Native American ceremony, and it's like this purification process. It's amazing. And so I definitely am all about meditating. I guess that's part of my daily routine as well. I do transcendental meditation. You have to rest your brain. And especially when I have a small team, but I still, in a way, feel like a one-man band where I'm very spread thin and need that rest. TM is a lifesaver. And then when I really need just a big reset, that's when I do the sweat lodge. And every time, honestly, if anyone's ever considered it, it really, spending a day unplugged gets your mind just right back where it like needs to be. Because it does happen often. I'll hit a wall and I just try to take a day to unplug. Thanks so much for watching on StartupNation.com. I'm Hillary Sawchuk from A Drink With. You can follow us at adrinkwith.com or on Twitter, Instagram at A Drink With. And it's been so fun to be here at the Detroit Foundation Hotel in the new Foundation Studio. Cheers.